Mycorrhiza.
Mushroom.
I like how it says load. Like, I have not played this game.
Indeed.
Swear to God, I have not played this game yet.
Or have you?
You got cut off there.
By my own sneeze. I'm rude.
Hello, everybody. I'm Crazed.
And I'm Witchley.
And we are playing Mycorrhiza, which is defined as a mushroom?
It's a type of mushroom. Put a picture here.
There's your definition. There you go. We got sponsored by the devs of this game to play this horror visual novel for our Grumble-ween. This is like very inspired by Junji Ito. If you don't know who that is, he's a manga artist that makes a lot of horror.
And another horror manga artist, right?
Yes, and I don't know the other name, but I will put it in right here. There you go. Welcome to a world of distorted minds.
The minds are distorted.
My eyes were burning. It felt like hot coals were lying on my eyelids.
No.
I slowly opened them and attempted to heave myself up from the cold asphalt.
Oh, we're on the street.
But I failed. My body was heavy and my head felt like it was being squashed by a hydraulic press.
Ooh.
I mean, you must have been drunk.
Yeah.
After a few attempts, I finally succeeded and tried to make out where I was. The fog in my mind lifted slowly and I realized that I was in a dark alleyway. My vision was still blurry, and I had trouble keeping my eyes open. But I could tell that I had never seen this place before. Slowly, my heart began to race. Was I abducted? Mugged? What happened to me?
You're probably roofied.
I hastily checked my body, fortunately finding no wounds.
Oh yay, they didn't steal your kidney.
Why was I feeling this weak then?
Uh-oh.
Maybe I was drugged?
Yes.
You've already deduced that. As I tried to recall what might have happened to me, my eyes finally focused. I could see a house in front of me. It was the only house on the street with its lights on. The dirty yellow glow shone through almost every single visible window. I felt some relief knowing that the tenants were awake. Perhaps they could tell me where I was. I approached the front door. It took me some searching to find the doorbell through the overgrown ivy. A deep gong rang out from within the house when I pressed it. The sound, amplified by the cold wind cutting through my shirt, made me tense up. What an odd choice for a doorbell sound, I thought while rubbing my upper arms to warm myself. I waited. No one answered. My mind twisted in confusion. Why was no one coming? I rang the doorbell again. Then I tried knocking. No response. No one was coming. I don't understand. Did they forget to turn the lights off and go on vacation? As a last resort, I tried turning the doorknob and...
It opened.
It actually opened. This worried me. Did something happen to the family living here? Perhaps I should find a phone and call the police. Suddenly a loud crash echoed through the street. My heart started to pound as my body tensed up. I wanted to dash into the house, but my feet refused to move. What was that sound? Was someone out there? Pictures of otherworldly monsters and armed kidnappers popped into my mind as my eyes scanned the darkness. The world was silent once more. I was still on edge, but my body slowly started to relax as I regained my composure. I decided I didn't want to find out what that was. Cautiously, I stepped through the threshold and firmly closed the door behind me. I entered a dimly lit hallway. The contours of minimalist furniture were illuminated by the street lights outside. I felt an immediate lurch of guilt as I was trespassing into a stranger's home. Hello? Is anyone there? No one answered. No answer at all. The house was eerily quiet. I cautiously ventured further down to the front hall and stopped in front of one of the doors. A dim yellow light seeped silently through the bottom crack. I turned the knob. Locked. Then the next one. Also locked. They all seemed to be. I frowned. Why were the lights behind these locked doors lit? It gave me an uneasy feeling. The door at the very end of the hall was the only one that I hadn't tried yet. I grasped its handle and turned it slowly. It swung open to complete darkness. Once again, my body tensed up while my mind started to conjure horrific images. A beast with dislocated limbs and crooked teeth creeping towards me from the darkness. A floor littered with corpses and walls stained with blood. A giant spider sitting in a corner waiting for its chance to strike. My hand shook as I reached to flick on the light. Oh, thank God. It was an utterly ordinary room. My heart slowly calmed down as I realized that I seemed to be safe. I felt almost silly getting scared of nothing. A quick search yielded nothing but barren, dusty shelves. The bed was the only meaningful object present. Slowly but surely, a wave of fatigue washed over me. With my adrenaline rush fading away, I found that I was more exhausted than I had realized. Like a worm wiggling its way into an apple. A single thought slowly invaded my mind. I had to sleep. Trying to fight it made it worse, as if some outside power was affecting me. Sleeping in a stranger's bed in a stranger's home was the last thing I wanted to do right now. But it was soon the only thing I could think about as my consciousness faded. I had to sleep. The world turned dark and the soft covers of the bed pulled me deeper and deeper into the black abyss.
Like the bath I took this morning.
With that pumpkin one?
Yeah.
Oh! There we go. We're in! Is this... So these are all dreams.
Ooh.
Maybe? I don't know.
Time for nightmares!
Ah! Hi. That's a head.
A severed head.
Okay. Oh dear gosh, what is that? What is that? What are those? These things are creepy. Mycorrhiza! Mycorrhiza.
Is that what it's really called?
Mycorrhiza? I probably said it wrong. Oh, we're actually finally in here. So, they did say in the tutorial that I probably skipped, that you guys didn't need to see because it's like the visual novel tutorial, that I can do this in any order. So I'm going to have Witchley choose which door we go through.
Alright.
There are 3 stories. So whichever one you choose.
We should start in the door up front of us.
In front of us?
Yeah.
Right there?
Yes.
Not the one that's scratched or has fingerprints on the side?
I mean, it's a fairly calm-looking door in front of us.
What could go wrong?
Exactly.
Well, let's go. Oh! Alright. Oh, I like that it's a book. It's like a manga book. Oh, it starts at the end, just like a manga. A Guide to Funny Faces.
Okay.
Okay.
This should be funny.
I'm not laughing yet. Is it like a nervous laugh? Ooh, we're awake. I shot awake, panting heavily, my clothes sticking to my skin due to all the sweat. My eyes darted around the room, but everything was quiet. I seemed to be safe. A nightmare. Seems like I just had a nightmare. I couldn't remember it anymore, but it must have been horrifying. Chills were still running down my spine. After calming down, I decided to take another look around the house. The fact that no one was here, even though the lights were on, was still nagging at the back of my mind. A look out the window confirmed that it was still night. I had either slept a whole day or it's only been a few hours. Considering how tired I felt, it must have been the latter. I left the bedroom to retry the doors, just in case. They were all still locked. I really wanted to go home and take a shower. I smelled my clothes, and they had started to smell slightly sour. This place seemed to have nothing left to offer. I'd be better off in the streets, even if it was still dark. All I needed to do was find a police station. They'd definitely be able to help me. As I wandered around, I grew more and more aware of how big this town was. The buildings were tall, and nature was rather scarce. The streets, however, were completely empty. Suddenly, my ears began to pick up the subtle sounds of laughter. The sounds turned to unease in my empty stomach. It was awfully late for such a public crowd. There wasn't cheering or rounds of applause. Just laughter. Loud and obnoxious laughter that didn't seem to subside or grow. It became louder as I approached the town center. Soon it turned into a wave of commotion by what sounded to be a massive crowd. They just laughed and kept laughing. It sounded dreadful. I was tempted to change course and avoid them. Yet this direction was my best bet for finding an inn or a police station. These priorities outweighed my sense of danger. I pressed on. The laughter was bellowing with hundreds of voices until I finally could glimpse the source of the commotion. Oh, the crowd gathered around a performer who was doing something to make them laugh. I strained to see the action, peeking through the small gaps between the people while keeping a safe distance. The group was just too dense. I couldn't see any details. The curiosity overwhelmed me and I started pushing through the people. They seemed to melt away without paying much attention. As I approached, I passed a table with books. I couldn't make out the title, but I could see something that resembled a mask on the cover. Paying it no mind, I pressed onward. I couldn't understand what was happening. The performer wasn't making any sounds. I couldn't make out any movement from beyond the crowd either. What was so entertaining? Oh no, we're getting closer. I see 3 faces on him.
Oh no.
Finally, I reached the front. But what I saw was the opposite of funny. It was horrifying.
Oh god.
Oh, dear God! Hi, sir.
Ooh, what's wrong with this neck?
Oh, the neck. It looks like pus.
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
His pockets.
Oh, God. What was wrong with his head? He turned his hips so that everyone in the crowd could have a clear view, as if he didn't want anyone to miss it. Why are you people laughing at this? A bystander heard me. I don't know. His face just seems so funny. I mean, look at it. I stared at him in disbelief. He and the others really did seem to find this funny. Were they seeing something I wasn't? No matter how I looked at it, it didn't seem like anything other than disturbing. I averted my gaze and walked away. I wanted nothing to do with this madness. I continued to comb through the town center while trying to keep my distance from the crowd. Soon I noticed that the sun had already started to rise, and I still hadn't found anything that vaguely resembled a police station. How about you do this voice?
It's kind of creepy, isn't it?
I had walked by a girl that was standing nearby. She was watching the crowd from a distance. Yeah, it is. I was glad to hear that someone else was thinking the same, and an awkward pause followed. I had been under the impression that she wanted to start up a conversation, but I guess that wasn't the case. My stomach broke the silence.
Are you hungry?
Blood shot to my face. It was true that I was feeling starved. Swallowing my pride, I nodded.
I have a sandwich with me. You can have it.
Are you sure?
No worries. I'm not hungry anyways.
I had to hold myself back as to not lunge onto it. But I kept my cool, and I ate it cautiously as to not embarrass myself. Some of my strength returned to me. In the meanwhile, I decided to ask her about this town.
Sorry, I don't really know my way around here that well.
Oh, so you're not from here?
No, not really. Maybe I could help you look. I'm feeling a bit uneasy about being alone here anyways.
I glanced back in the direction of the laughing crowd. Sure, I would really appreciate that. I'm Scott, by the way.
I'm May. Nice to meet you.
We set off to look for help. The idea to call someone I knew from May's phone came up, but she didn't have it on her, unfortunately. We approached several people to ask them for directions, but all of them just seemed to ignore us. I tried to make some small talk with May every now and then, but her replies were always short and I didn't have much room for follow-ups. But she perked up when I asked her about her family.
I have a sister.
At first I thought this would be all I get out of her, but she continued after a short pause.
She's been home more recently. Usually she'd leave early and return late, or not return home at all for several days. Her job is really important, so it makes sense. But I was really happy when she told me she wouldn't go to work for a while. I assumed she was finally able to request some time off. But she continued to work even at home.
May hung her head. It seemed like she had touched on I had touched on a sensitive topic. I thought of ways to console her or cheer her up, but couldn't come up with anything to say. Since I didn't have any siblings, it was hard to relate, but it seemed like she really had loved her sister. I could actually relate more to May's sister. Just as her, I too have barely been home due to my work. And just like her, I'd likely been working even more if I was home. But as opposed to May's sister, I didn't have anyone who was expecting me back home. I decided against poking any further and instead shifted my focus back to asking people for directions. Without much luck. Oddly enough, it was as if they were all going in the same direction, the town center. Do you think they're going to see that performer? Silence. Maybe she just hadn't heard me. I turned around to ask her again, but she was nowhere to be seen. Just as I finished that thought, I felt a presence behind me. I slowly turned around. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hi, is that the man?
It looks like the man.
God,
Really.
dude, what is wrong with your eyelids? What the hell? What do you think? Do I look funny? What? No, get away from me! I took a few steps back, almost afraid the man would lunge at me. But he didn't. He just stood there. I see. Maybe I didn't do it quite right. And with that, he walked off, disappointed. He took a book out of his pocket and started flipping through it. For some real reason, he seemed familiar. Oh, that music is so eerie. This town was giving me the creeps. I needed to get out here as fast as I could. But as I turned around, I saw that most people were walking by had distorted their faces in one way or another. It was as if the virus had spread while we were looking for help. This was madness. I needed to get out of here, but where to? And where was I? Where was May? I was getting kind of worried. Alright, I took a look around and thought about what to do. Should I stay on the main street? It should be easier to find May or a police station that way, or go through the back streets and avoid attracting any unwanted attention. Maybe Main Street.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of creeps.
There's a lot of creeps.
I felt uneasy around these people, but I didn't want to negatively impact my chances at finding help. Quickly, I hurried off while trying to ignore everyone's gaze. But wherever I went, these people were everywhere. On top of that, the town seemed to have no end. I couldn't find a road that led out, no matter how long I searched. Just as I was wondering about what to do, I recognized someone standing near the building. There you are! You had me worried!
Oh, I'm sorry. I had something to take care of.
That sounded oddly vague, but I didn't want to be rude, so I dropped it. She did give me a sandwich after all. Yep.
Did you have any luck finding your way back home?
No, still nothing. And on top of that, there are all these weird people walking around.
Actually, I know someone who may be able to help.
You do?
Yes, they don't live far from here. How about I introduce you?
Oh, yeah, sure. Wasn't she new in this town? Maybe she met them while we were separated? I considered questioning her, but this was the only lead I had so far, and I didn't want to lose this chance. We arrived at an old, tall building. I don't like where this is going. I watched May from the corner of my eye. Something seemed different about her, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Perhaps it was just my imagination.
They live on the highest floor. This building is pretty old and not many people live here anymore, so it's a bit run down.
I'd appreciate
it if you went first.
I didn't protest and led us into the structure. The building was quite desolate, just as she said. This place made me feel uneasy. I didn't want to stay here any longer than I had to. Not only was I afraid that everything would come down on our heads any minute. I could only imagine that what could lurk in these abandoned halls. I didn't blame her for wanting me to go first. After climbing to a set of stairs, May spoke up again.
It should be the door at the end of this hall.
Ugh. Don't like this. Saw the door she was referring to. It was probably the only door in the entire building that wasn't damaged. The clean coat of paint was an eerie contrast in the ravaged environment. And the one living there can help me? No reply. I turned around and saw nothing. May was gone. Again. She could have at least said goodbye. I walked up to the door and knocked. But it was already open. Maybe I had the wrong door after all, yet May had seemed certain. What should I do? Take a look around the building or enter the apartment?
Yeah, I think I've seen this game before.
You have?
Yeah, I think Gab Smolders played it.
Was it like a demo or something? Because this just came out.
I think it must have been a demo.
You know, we're already here. We're already in front of a door that's open. I'd rather not look around a ravaged building.
Let's enter the apartment.
Let's go. Perhaps they forgot to lock the door. Or May had already notified them that we were coming and they left it open for us. I gave the door a soft push. Hello? No reply. It was a very small apartment. The door opened to the living room, which seemed to double as the bedroom. A single corridor led to 2 more rooms, likely the bathroom and a kitchen. Just like the door itself, everything looked way too clean and tidy compared to the hallway outside. I stepped in and peered through a window, hoping to spot this person that I was supposed to meet. Everything looked normal from up here, but I knew this wasn't the case. Something was wrong with this town, and I was trapped here. Would I ever be able to return home? I had people who relied on me. Would my team at the lab manage without me? I tore myself away from the window. This wasn't the time to think about that. I should be concentrating on finding a way out. I thought about what to do next. Maybe I'll take a look around the apartment. Should we check? Let's check for pictures. I took a look at the pictures hanging on the walls. Most of them were paintings that depicted nature. Only a few of them were photographs. One of them, one with a note scribbled on it, caught my eye. It depicted a man and a woman having a picnic. The note said Sabrina and Frederick, BFF. It seemed like one of them was living here, or maybe both. At the very least, I would now be able to recognize the tenant once I see them. Check the desk. The surface of the desk was crammed with beauty products. A single mirror was standing amongst them. A small book was buried beneath the clutter. Check the book. I moved the small bottles aside and picked up the book underneath. The cover depicted a mask with a distorted facial expression. The title read, The Art of Humor. I flipped through it. It was apparently a guide by the most hilarious one. That explained how to make funny faces. You think the most hilarious one was that three-faced being?
Maybe so.
Well, the pictures in the book were more disturbing than humorous. One description of a technique caught my eye. Finally, we arrived at addition. Like removal, this is a very risky technique, reserved only for the cream of the crop. It may sound simple, though. All you have to do is add and never stop. Search for features that are a disgrace to facial humor. Then take them for yourself and pair them off. The person might even thank you for all your help with removal. I glanced at the pictures beside the text and shook my head in disgust. I started skimming through it quickly, and sure enough, it was full of similar depictions. On the very last page, I came to a sudden stop. There was a key taped to it. Did the key come with the book, or did the owner of the book hide it in here? Oh well, it didn't matter to me anyway, since I didn't know what door the key was for. I placed the book back the way it was before. Let's check the other rooms.
Sounds good.
I walked down the corridor and towards the other two rooms. As I suspected, it was just the bathroom and the kitchen. Something about the bathroom caught my eye. It was filled with countless beauty products. Scarily many beauty products. The shelves were overflowing. I could barely see the counter. Even the floor was littered with them. Shaking my head, I went back to the living room. Suddenly, I heard a sound outside the apartment. I hastily slipped inside a closet and carefully pulled it shut. I wasn't sure why I was hiding, but I had an awful feeling in my guts. Finding a stranger standing in your apartment probably wouldn't be something someone would want to take in stride. Then again, finding one in your closet would be even worse. Oh, who are you? I watched through the silts of the door as they entered the apartment. They stopped in the entryway and took a look around the room. Was this the tenant? Shadows were obscuring part of their body. I strained my eyes, trying to see what they looked like. But what I saw made me cover my mouth to suppress a gasp. Oh, hello? Oh god, I can already see the shape. Oh dear, go! Oh. Ew.
Bloody hell.
Oh, what big eyes you have, ma'am. This woman's face was ravaged. Fleshly chunks clung to her forehead. Were those face parts?
Just forgot to close the door again.
She spoke to herself and moved as if nothing was wrong, but her face... It was horrendous. She walked up to the mirror.
This looks so much better, just like in the book. I should check the text again. I may have missed something.
Oh. She picked up the book that was lying on the desk and flipped it open.
I see.
Can we move on to a different visual?
I need more. Yes, I definitely need more.
She looked back to the mirror and caressed her disfigured face. She backed toward the exit and left the apartment. Her eyes never left the mirror. I remained frozen in the closet for a few more minutes. My heart slowly calmed myself. Once I was sure that she was really gone, I stepped out. I needed to get myself as far away from this building and this town as fast as I possibly could. As I was about to leave the apartment, a sudden wave of fatigue came over me. It was as if I had stepped into a veil. The air had gotten heavier and my breathing became more ragged. I clutched my chest as I tried to figure out what was going on. A throbbing pain pulsed through my arm, as if it was something had stabbed me. I tried to turn around, but I had already become too weak. My feet gave in and my vision darkened. I could feel a presence near me. The woman? May? Before I could find out, my consciousness faded. Oh my gosh, something was there. The most hilarious woman Was that it? Oh, I don't know. I don't know how that... Oh, gosh, that was creepy. Was that the story? I felt like there should be more. Okay, well, that was one door out of 3. What do you think?
Spooky, I like it.
Oh, I love it too. It's amazing. We're going to leave it here. We're just going to start with one door. But I'm really enjoying this. I love the art style. It really does give me that Junji Ito vibe. And I love all his work. It's amazing.
Now we know why this door was nice looking when we entered it.
Yes, because of what we experienced. Well, that was Mycorrhiza. This has been our Grumbleween, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you guys want to see us play more of this, we only got 2 more doors left. This is going to be a short one. I wouldn't mind doing more of this.
Yeah, let's do more of this.
Yes, I think it's been decided.
Yes, it has.
We'll continue
Whether
on.
you like and comment or not.
But it's nice that you do.
Yes, please like and comment.
And subscribe if you're not.
Subscribe if you're not already subscribed.
Yes. We'll see you guys for the next one. As always, I'm Crazed.
And I'm Witchley. Grumble on.